The third season of F1 Academy has just finished, with Mercedes junior driver Dorian Pan becoming champion at the final race in Las Vegas. So now is a great time to do my... I'm sure most of you will be familiar with the concept, but for those of you who aren't, I'll be placing each full-time driver who competed in F1 Academy in 2025, so no wildcard drivers, into one of these tiers based on how well I think they performed this season. So without further ado, starting off will be the Prema racing team with Dorian Pan first. As always, the champion will be the easiest one to rank. Yeah, Dorian had a great year as she won the championship like most of us expected, to be honest, after finishing as runner-up last year. I think she led the championship for the majority of the season and seemed pretty comfortable up front. The fact that Pan scored points in every single race she entered in F1 Academy over 2 years is top quality. So that means her lowest finish of 2025 was a 6th place finish in a reverse grid race. 4 wins and 9 podiums is super impressive, but 0 poles is a little strange. That would be the only criticism I have of her season, but anyway, Pan is going in A star of course. Next up is her teammate Nina Gademan. I was actually really impressed by Nina's season. 6th in the championship, 3rd best rookie, and beat her other second season teammate, who I'll be getting onto in a second. Gademan's Zandvoort weekend is truly magical. From being declared unfit to drive just before the weekend began, to then winning her first race on her birthday is just insane. That was her only win of the season, but she should have had another one, had her car not died on the penultimate lap whilst leading race 1 in China. Gademan's consistency was amazing this year as she scored points in every race bar 2. Those 2 being race 1 at China, which I just mentioned, and the other one being race 3 at Canada, where she received a time penalty for crashing into Felbermeyer. That race was really poor from her, I'll admit. But anyway, I'm putting Gademan into B. Now the final Prema driver, Tina Hausmann. Yeah, it was a pretty underwhelming year from the Swiss driver. She finished 8th in the championship, an improvement from her 10th in the standings the season before, but still not where she should be. She was very far behind her teammates last year and is again this season. Too many mistakes from Tina in positions where she should have scored more points from, whether it was hitting her teammate Gademan in China or crashing out from 3rd at Zandvoort. Hausmann has to be doing better in my opinion, but 8th in the championship isn't that bad and is still an improvement from her rookie year, so Tina is going in D. Now onto the next team, Campos, starting with their best driver in 2025, Chloe Chambers. I feel like this year was a big what-if season for Chambers. She evidently was very quick as she claimed the most pole positions this season with 4, but many factors, whether that be mistakes in races, car mechanical problems, wrong strategy, or just her and her teammate crashing into each other, they all prevented Chloe from putting together a proper title charge. But she still did claim 2 wins and 7 podiums on her way to 3rd in the championship. In fact, Chambers finished on the podium in 50% of the races this year. Pretty impressive when you remember they brought back reverse grids this year. An improvement from an already impressive rookie year where she finished 6th in the standings last year. Chambers is going in A. Just quickly, can everyone subscribe right now? I'm close to 3,000 subscribers. Still insane to me to say that out loud. And once I hit that milestone, I will launch the Formula Maximus Discord server. That's right, the official Formula Maximus Discord server. So everyone, go subscribe. Now onto her favourite driver to clash with on track, it's Alicia Pamoski. I personally rate Pamoski highly. She's very quick as she demonstrated many times this year with her qualifying form. Although Alicia didn't qualify on pole this year, she lined up 2nd on the grid for the main race 4 times. But too many mistakes prevented her from finishing higher up in the championship, whether that was tangling with another driver or hitting the barriers. Pamoski in the end finished 5th in the championship, the 2nd highest rookie, with 1 win and 5 podiums throughout the year. Pamoski is getting an A. Now onto the final Campos driver, Rafaela Ferreira. It was such a disappointing season from the Brazilian. I, like many, thought she'd be one of the top rookies this year after she'd been impressive in F4 over in Brazil, as well as driving for one of the top teams, Campos. But for whatever reason, Ferreira hugely struggled this season as she finished down in 12th in the standings with 18 points, making her the 6th best rookie. But there are some positives to take away. She scored 9 points, 50% of the total she accumulated in the last 5 races of the season, which goes to show that she improved as she got more comfortable with the series. The problem is, you can't really use the excuse of she's not raced on these European tracks before, a solid reason you can give to most non-European drivers as they make the switch over to the continent, as the F1 Academy calendar this year had a grand total of 1 European race, that being Zandvoort. So a lot of these drivers were driving on tracks such as China, Canada and Las Vegas for the first time. But with all that being said, I will factor in Ferreira being based in a completely new part of the world and also being a rookie, so she's going to go in D. So now the next team is going to be MP Motorsport, starting with vice champion Maya Verg. So close to glory for the Dutch driver who improved from an already impressive rookie season last year. She was third last season, and this season she was one place better as runner-up. Oh yeah, if you hadn't noticed, I won't be directly comparing the second season drivers' 2025 seasons to their 2024 seasons due to the differing weekend formats. For example, Verg in 2025 scored 20 points fewer than she did in 2024 and 5 more than Pan did this season. Verg just missed out on the championship to Dorian Pan by 15 points, which could have been a lot less or maybe even better had she not had that formation lap incident with Hausmann in Las Vegas, which put the pair out of the race. I've watched that clip over so many times and I still can't decide what even is going on. Verg still had a top quality season with 3 wins, 9 podiums and 3 pole positions, which does make her one of the 2 drivers to qualify on pole this year. Maya's end of the season form was immense as she scored 5 podiums in the last 6 races, the Las Vegas formation lap crash being the only time she finished off the podium in that period. She actually only finished off the podium 5 times in 2025, so for me, Verg will be going in A star. Now onto one of her teammates, Alba Hurup Larsen. The Danish rookie had a pretty impressive first season in F1 Academy. She finished 7th in the standings on 70 points, just 4 points behind fellow rookie Nina Gademan, who was 1 place ahead of her. Alba didn't score any wins or any podiums, but came close in Las Vegas after she made an overtake on Gademan to lead the race, but then shortly afterwards, she span out and retired from the race. She had a best race finish of P4 twice and also finished P5 on 5 occasions. Amazing consistency. What's as impressive to me is she's only 16 and one of the few drivers who are actually making their full-time single-seater debut. I'm a big fan of Larsen's season and I hope to see even more from her next season as a new member of the Ferrari Driver Academy. Larsen is getting a B. Now on to the final MP driver, Joanne Ciconte. It was not a good season at all from the Australian. Like her teammate Larsen, Ciconte too was making her full-time single-seater debut this year in F1 Academy at the age of 16 as well. But unfortunately for Ciconte, she could not replicate the Danes' form at all this season as she finished down in 14th with just 8 points to her name. She only scored points in 3 races over the year and finished above just 3 other full-time drivers. So Joanne is getting an E. Now onto the next team, which will be Rodin, starting with Emma Felbermayr. The Austrian driver had a pretty good first season of F1 Academy. Actually, 2025 was Felbermayer's first year of single-seaters, just like the previous 2 drivers I spoke about, only difference being Emma's a couple years older. But anyway, Felbermayr finished 10th overall, level on points with Leah Block, and has a win to her name, making her the 5th best rookie this season. But personally, I feel like that doesn't truly represent Felbermayer's ability, as she definitely showed she was quick throughout the season. I feel that she was often plagued with bad luck, like being hit by other drivers or even being disqualified from podium place. I think Emma is a quick driver and I'll be interested to see what she does next year, but for me now, I'll place her in C. Up now is her teammate Ella Lloyd. Now where do I begin with Ella? The Welsh driver is one of my drivers of the season. She finished 4th in the championship with 1 win and 5 podiums to her name, which makes her the rookie of the year. Lloyd also scored points in every race that she finished in and also comfortably beat both of her teammates. What a driver. I felt that Lloyd was often fighting at the front of the field most weekends and did not look out of place against the top drivers in F1 Academy this year, who all have many years of racing under their belts, compared to Lloyd, who is in her 2nd season of single-seaters. She's returning to F1 Academy next year, so will be one of the title favourites for sure, and is also hopefully competing in GB3 too. Lloyd is going to get an A star. Now, it's the final Rodin driver, Chloe Chong. The other 2 Rodin drivers had been impressive this year, but we've got to be real here, Chong had a really difficult season. She's one of the more unique drivers as she is a 2nd season driver, but actually started her rookie F1 Academy year in 2023, but did not return in 2024, but instead 2025. Chloe did improve from her rookie year as she finished 14th overall in 2023 and 11th this year, but still, it was a very disappointing year from the British driver. She scored 18 points overall, which were accumulated on 4 occasions, which includes a strong P5 in the main race at Canada. But anyway, Chong is getting an E. Now onto the penultimate team, ART, starting with Leah Block. Yeah, 2025 was really underwhelming from Block, it has to be said. She made the big move going from rally cars to single-seaters last year when she debuted in F1 Academy, so you'd expect a better improvement in her 2nd season, but it did not happen for the American. Block scored 37 points and finished 9th in the standings, 1 place lower than she did in 2024, but she did achieve her first podium and race win in the series with a P2 in Zandvoort and a win at Singapore in the next round. So Leah did show some signs of improvement as she also beat her 2 other teammates, but the consistency was not there throughout the course of the season as she only had 5 points finishes. Block is going in D. Next up is Courtney Crone. Yeah, I don't think there's much sugarcoating this one. Crone had a disastrous season as she finished 19th in the championship with 3 points, which were all scored in the final 3 races, so maybe that does show some signs of improvement for the American. But still, she only finished above one other full-time driver and actually finished behind 3 wildcard and substitute drivers. She is a rookie, so maybe I should be a bit more lenient on her, but at the same time, she is 24 and has also been racing for years, so Crone will be going in F. Now the final ART driver, Aurelia Nobles. Another ART driver with an underwhelming year. Nobles was coming into 2025 after a pretty underwhelming 2024 F1 Academy rookie season as she finished down in 12th and last of her teammates. Well, in 2025, she is no longer last of her teammates, thanks to Courtney Crone, but she has finished lower down in the championship in 13th on 17 points. She did manage to score her first F1 Academy podium in the final round at Las Vegas with a P3 in race 1. Nobles actually scored 12 of her 17 points in the final 2 rounds of the season, so she did show some improvement towards the tail end of the year, but that can't excuse the year as a whole, as it was one to forget for the Brazilian, who will be getting an E. Now onto the newest and final team, Hitech, starting with Nicole Havrada. An absolutely horrible season for the Canadian. She finished 20th and last in the championship with just 1 single point to her name, which was scored at her home race in Canada. So yeah, fair play I suppose. But that unfortunately was the highlight in a disastrous season for Havrada. There's no hiding it. Has to go in F. Now the final driver, who is Eva Anagnostiadis. From one disastrous season to another, it really was a very tricky year for the Aussie, which got even worse towards the end of the year as she fractured her foot, which required surgery, thus forcing her to sit out of the final 2 rounds at Singapore and Las Vegas. But before that, Anagnostiadis scored 5 points all year, which does include a P8 on debut, which is impressive, but still did finish down in 17th in the standings. She didn't even finish highest of the Hitechs, as Rachel Robertson, who raced an Anagnostiadis car for the Las Vegas round, scored a P4 finish in race 1, meaning she finished above Ava in the standings. Being the new entry for 2025, Hitech clearly did have the worst car, which certainly didn't help their 2 drivers, but that can only defend them so far. So like her teammate, Anagnostiadis is going in F. That has been my 2025 F1 Academy ranking tier list. I hope I have not frustrated too many of you with where I've put certain drivers in this tier list, but if I have, do leave a comment with where you'd put them. So with all that being said, please do subscribe so I can hit 3k subscribers and launch the Discord server. Do also leave a like and a follow on Twitter, and I'll see you all later.